All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I did pause your phone for the music. I run Beautiful Blasphemy. It's a local writing group. We publish whoever wants. The guys in the room have already heard me say this 3 times. Feel free to enjoy the reading. If you are interested, we have an open mic sign-up list. Other than the few that have signed up, you'll have to deal with me if you don't. And my son has already promised to randomly grab things over there. But I'm going to start with one that has a little bit of something about him in there. The moment. The Japanese girl sits quietly on the pier, gazing out over the water. Her silence and knowing glance says more than either of our languages could ever comprehend. She's beautiful in her hopelessness, and I, dumbstruck, in awe of a peace I will never know. She sits behind me squawking with an adolescent banter that must seem dire. Her intensity of voice speaks the same thing I have secretly wished for years, but been too afraid to say. Please pay attention to me. Speak I did, for the very first time. This awkward message of youthful adoration is not exactly communicated articulately. Her only response is, God, I hate you. Please shut up. If I am already taking risks with my life, then I will not be silenced. For once, I will not back down. You love me, you just don't know it yet. We are inexplicably sat on the very edge of the river, the smell of Texas barbecue intensifying our hunger. Half our small group exhausted, proving our technical prowess. While I declare that this most manly of feasts must be a competition to prove our testosterone, why simply dine in San Antonio when you can challenge your friends to a banquet of sauce-laden meats? I declare that he who finishes least or last must surrender his manhood. The balls are on the table tonight. I woke early this morning and slipped quietly out of my bunk. My compatriots were still sleeping off a hangover. I pushed open the door hundreds of years my senior and witnessed the burgundy sunset of French wine country. And just think, right now, I could be mindlessly staring at rolling machinery. I placed another valve on the pump, and we're hypnotically tightening it down. The sound has become a meditation now. The zen is broken when my radio squeals. The producer has just jumped on the air. The World Trade Center is on fire. I place my wrench slowly down on the table, confused. We all do. We all are. In a half an hour, we will all be sitting around the table, listening to Howard Stern speculate on our horror. We are blinded to the true terror, what this really means, until hours later. Snow continues to flood my windshield as I wind precariously around the bespeckled Alleghenies. The city below, shrouded in the early winter night, looks as though the heavens have finally released the weight of the stars to the ground. As I marvel at this, a twinge of fear arises. I may not find shelter tonight. Nonetheless, the road levels out, and an exit is offered as a salvation. In the midst of planned itineraries, sightseeing, and tourist attractions, I had lost track of time. I am resigned to sleep the night in a Walmart parking lot. When I pull off the exit, however, I am pleased to see the welcoming glow of a mall. There I discover an establishment long since lost to the ether of my youth. As I sit there eating the 10,000-calorie hot dog, I ponder. This is what life was like when I thought it was simpler, when I thought I knew what it was all about, before I was proven horribly wrong. In the midst of the audacious and elaborate splendor of Florence, I see a sight so simple and yet so much more a monument to man's infallible capacity for love and compassion. A rose, brown and dead, is stuck in a chain-link fence. Attached to it is a small handwritten note that reads, "Kiss her now." I am in her arms. I have been told no and resigned to rejection so many times. So many times I told myself this would never happen. As my lips touch hers, I laugh inside my head. Is this really happening? This is really happening. I hold my breath. I can see him through the window as I have seen him through the electronic window of my TV for years. As I get closer, this feels less and less real. This is my hero, my God. He has accomplished amazing things and pushed the limits of the human body. Suddenly I am in front of him. He looks up and smiles as he says hello. All the nervousness, the anxiety disappears when I realize that my God is a man like me. I am terrified. Before me is a discolored, screaming, clawing, misshapen alien creature. My son takes his first breaths of real air. We are all exhausted. His mother looks at me with a look that practically screams, "We did it!" I plead, "But we're not done doing it yet, are we?" His gurgles turn into cries, and I know that this is the moment that matters more than any in my life. I will never have a single instant matter any more than this ever will. And while I stare into his bed, I hope he proves me wrong. Can you guess who was the person at the end, kid? That was you. Alright, so I'm going to read something random he picks out for me, and then I'll call up my first on the open mic. I thought you already had one. Oh, Eli. Oh, I love me some Eli. So, this is a rather unique person from Akron, Ohio. Eli Williams. A trans, formerly homeless person, musician, camper, and I'm randomly opening to a page, but there is one I really, really like. Ow, I love this one. Closets and corridors. You are a broken poem. You are the words I have to claw out of my skin, finding anything with a sharp point just to be disappointed again. That all I can find are the couple of spoons you left me with. And each layer has a different story to tell about why you left. You are a shitty poem I can't stop writing. You're the puzzle we did the first week we moved into our new place. You taught me how to glue every piece together. You gave it a purpose other than shoving it back into the box, broken. You are what love dreams about when it's having a nightmare. The overused, complicated cliche of being loved too much to stay, and love is chasing you down corridors while you're alone, hiding, broken, in a closet waiting for someone to try and pull you out while you pull them in. That was Eli Williams. Alright, so there is some awful feedback. For anyone who joined, I am Ryan Kinney. We're running a poetry open mic. If you are interested in signing up, there's an open mic list right there. Otherwise, you have to live with me. There's also a whole pile of free books from local writers. If you are a local writer, we will publish you. I'm going to call up the first open mic, and that will be Elvis. Feel free to introduce your full name as you see fit.
Hello everybody, my name is Elvis Americo, and I got a couple poems. I'm only going to read one right now. I might read and I might read the other one later. And both of them are kind of, what would be the best way to say, kind of a, well, today's the first day of autumn, right? So my poems are kind of based on that, the season that we're in. So the first poem that I'm going to read here, you guys hear me loud enough? Yeah? Okay. It sounds different when you're up here, so. What? No, I'm good. I just want to make sure they can hear me. Alright, so this poem is called Season of the Long Shadow. Like the goodnight kiss that lasts until morning, or the last bite of a Honeycrisp apple pie, I shall savor these final beams of sunlight and run my fingers through your hair like the wind through the trees. And while the trees can't hold on to their golden leaves, unto you I'll hold permanently tight. Now the mornings tend to oversleep, and the evenings have an early slumber. The birds fly south, the squirrels gather nuts, and the bears prepare their beds for hibernation. But I'll stare forever into your sultry eyes and keep the crackle of the fire burning. I want to be that harvest moon that feeds your inspiration. I'll carve out time for you like a pumpkin preparing for watch. But unlike its length of service, I'm there with no condition, no end, just as a child is loved by his mother. Today may be the start of the season of the long shadow, but don't measure your day by the amount of sunlight on your face. Instead, measure it by the amount you brighten the life of another. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do you have any more you'd like to share?
I do. I'll let somebody else do it, and I'll read it out later.
Sounds good to me.
Is there anybody else who wants to read?
I know, it's got some weird feedback. All right. artist here. I am a junk artist. I build things out of the stuff people throw away. So almost everything with a tube TV in this building is mine. There's a digital waterfall, one floor above us. There's little dresser stacks on every floor. Also, if you go out to Marquette, at the very end, you'll find a gazebo with piano soundboards in it. So, you're going to have to deal with another one of mine. Xander, you might know what this is about. It's not about you. Relics, or House of Stolen Light. When I pull up in my battle-scarred truck, that old song is playing on the radio, whose lyrics I have misheard, and hell, who did that damn song anyways? Nonetheless, well, what I do here through cracks and pops, it definitely suits this house. It is an old, rundown bi-level with a winding porch, and more windows than walls. But the windows are heavily tinted and the shades are all half-drawn. The windows do not let the light into the home, but rather steal it, consume it into the darkness, never to be seen again. How many neighborhood rumors revolved around this house? For how long has it been whispered that this is that haunted house? Or this is where that one creepy guy did that one horrific thing? Or even that series of horrific things? Did the boogeyman originate here, inside the darkness of that house, stealing the sunshine from precocious little boys and girls, finally freed from the confines of scholastic imprisonment? Until eventually their days of play started getting shorter, and they returned to their 9 months of confinement. With no one to blame but the invisible tenant of that ever-decaying, but seemingly indestructible and insurmountable home. I imagine a stone in my hand, to be thrown into this house of glass. I picture it not breaking the glass, so much as piercing a pool of darkness that ripples across the entire house, melting each window, and finally freeing everyone's abducted childhoods. I see the sunlight exploding from the foundation, the cracked brown leaves from every dead broken tree suddenly springing to life and filling with green. Years of devoured frisbees, kites, and baseballs launching into the air from every crevice. And then I think, maybe appearances can be deceiving. Maybe this house is not so much that spooky old ruin, but rather a cracked and worn old photo album, housing years of relics of lives spent well and with love. Love that our generation could not possibly fathom, devoid of the electronic means of expressing and spreading it. How many boys turned men, turned soldiers here? How many mothers turned grandmothers, turned cherished memories? How many years were cried over straight B's and first loves, or spent on lover lanes, backyard barbecues, and drunken sibling brawls? Is that old tire finally getting its deserved rest from someone's swing, or off the wheels of a well-up ancestor to my vehicle? Whose lives and legends are parked in this dusty driveway? Whose footprints am I standing in right now? Maybe those dark windows never really robbed the light, but rather were meant to hold it in for the love growing inside, so that anyone within would always feel its warmth and brightness. And anytime someone left that house, they returned that light to the world in kind, richer and brighter than it ever would have been had it not spent its time within those walls. Who are you, O house of stolen light? What secrets do you hold? How many childhoods were used up here, either stolen or spent fully? What lives have you had? What adventures can you tell me? I smile. This is going to be fun, as I kick in the front door. So, as I mentioned that I am a junk artist, I build up the things people throw away. That's kind of inspired by my many dumpster diving / foreclosed home material gatherings, if you would. All right, Xander, you got another one for me? A rando? I'm playing poetry roulette here. New people, if you want to sign up for the open mic, please do. The Sun on the Go by Heather Mott. All right. I think there's a short one about minnows in here I really like. She's a fan of her haikus. Oh, wait. I don't think this is a haiku, but it's very short. It's called Woke AF. Each attempt to draft the incensed spirit of Parkland survivors only yields poetry ponderous with insatiable hope. That was kind of short. Sure, why not? Something random. Always Beginning, by Heather Monk, by the way. You can get this book for free along with others right over there. Chess defines elementary fool's gambit. Half-baked intentions joust nightly limitations. mangling nuance out of order, pleading, cueing, regular syllables together until visions wake. Xenoglossy, young, I can't pronounce the word. Zwingshangzug. Pretty sure that's a language I don't understand. You sound like you actually know what that means. Oh, well, there you go. It feels German. Marley? Okay. So we have another brave soul who signed up for the open mic. So Marley, feel free to introduce yourself in any manner you see fit.
Hello, I'm Arlene, and I'm going to read Weathered Woman. I peer into the mirror. I am shown a weathered woman who emits a dim ray of light. I barely recognize her. Her light dimmed by layers of sediment created and collected from the moments. Moments that unraveled as quickly as they tangled. Instances that could have not been foreseen now subconsciously linger, particles stirred by songs, smells, memories, and dreams. A fearless female with a vibrant glow once stood before me with an open, naive heart. Her eyes held only the possibility of beauty, believing in strangers no matter how dark their spirits appeared, believing when others would not, gasping onto any light that seeped from their soul. Those eyes, compared to these, I often wonder at what moment did the radiant light recede. Beginning a journey with an open, naive heart is equivalent to being a catch basin. The moments, individual particles in one's mind settle from unsettling moments, unknowingly clouding one's spirit. I peer back into the mirror at my reflection at this weathered woman, grasping onto any light. I realize at this moment I have to believe even when I do not.
Alright, I'm going to randomly grab another one of mine and not go near that speaker again with this. Alright, so I am a man of many inconsistencies. So what I don't have is natural rhythm. So every so often, I kind of write something lyrical, and it comes off like some of the nerdiest, whitest rap. I have maybe 3 or 4. So on that, I am actually a gigantic nerd. So I'm going to read you nerd rap, and let's see how many of the nerds in the crowd can catch all the references. It's very short. May the power protect you, because I pity the fool who does not freak out when they hear transform and roll out. It's your move, freak, just another body on the heat. The power is yours to understand that this nerd is hardcore. What I call beast mode is a transformation access code. I'll generate way more than 1.21 gigawatts till I make your mind rot. Now don't you slack, because you know I'll be back. That's just for fun. Oh, hey. And then, of course, some of my friends with a little more soul than I got do these things where they want to put like Facebook posts of rap lyrics that you just kind of leave off the cuff. So this is mine, and I just call it bad rap. So here comes this serial killer looking creep, thinking he's here for just a little peep. He's just a little whacked out manic, energy spurts come up in an inconsistent panic. But I promise you, I'm an alright dude. Even though I act a little rude but crude, I'm the leader who takes apart machines. Been my own man since I was 14. He's a maniac creator who makes all the world his theater. In his head lives every world swirling around in a surrealistic twirl. He's a trash-picking raccoon, looking like some tinfoil hat loon. Now here I go making another promise. I'm a monstrosity Frankenstein colossus. I build dreams out of your waist, assembling beauty with a fever pitch haste. Don't ever doubt what I say, even if it sounds preposterous and risque. I make some of the weirdest things meant to elicit grins from my deepest sins. I have to remember not to walk over there with this thing or it makes a really annoying noise. All right, now my kid picked something random, but the joke's on him, because this is actually one of my good friends who started this group with me. And everything he's got in here is awesome. This is We Are Made of Found Objects. He's actually a librarian in Summit County now. Last year, if you happen to be here, he was one of the people that helped me put this on. Being that, he has his bona fides as a poetry nerd. So this is hashtag TRNT in memory of Gil Scott Heron, who wrote "The Revolution Will Not Be Televised." The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will be live, streaming through your windows, laptops, and smartphones. The revolution will be blogged, tweeted, liked, shared, reblogged, retweeted, and stumbled upon in between midnight masturbation sessions, sandwiched between funny cat memes. The revolution will be HD. The evolution will be high speed. The whistles will be blown at with frequency. The revolution will be commented on, scrutinized, vandalized, scandalized, stylized, and advertised. People will pay attention. People will forget to mention that some stand up, occupy, rot, and die, riot, and die. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will be streaming live through the filter of your choice. The facts will be democratized. The democracy will be corporatized. The corporations will be personified. People objectified, spied on, and villainized. The powers that be will lie, deny, and try to justify. The people will be disenfranchised. Prisons will be privatized. Death drones will be utilized. No one will bat an eye, because the revolution will be multiplied, oversimplified, the violence normalized, lives of sacrifice to satiate the golden calf's appetite. The revolution will not be televised, but Jerry Springer will. Go figure. Now that's a little vague, because Jerry Springer, I think, is finally off the air. I don't think we've really improved the television since, though. All right. Elvis, did you want to come up with anything else? Come on up, my friend.
Again, the theme for today was, well, at least my theme, but today's the first day of autumn, so that's where this one kind of comes from. And this poem is called The Leaf. Looking up in the sky, it's like seeing Superman going for a leisurely stroll, or a tiny sunset floating, sailing in midair. But that little leaf of autumn has a story all of its own. He started in the springtime as the air around him warmed, a tiny bud on naked branches, but soon he was followed by thousands of his brothers and sisters, and together they blanketed the branches of their rock, their trunk. He was one of many, doing his job of drinking in the sunshine so that all his siblings and himself could thrive, grow, and maintain that healthy, green, glowing skin. And the trunk got a new ring, but just one for itself. Summer arrived, and so did the scorching heat of the sun. But the leaf and his siblings continued to do their job. This time they provided shade for all the lives on legs that gathered below them. And as those legs walked away, none turned to wave in gratitude. As the days began to shorten, the leaf's trunk grew tired and was preparing for its long winter nap. The food source suddenly became scarce. Dehydration was setting in. He was turning a pale yellow. No longer was he the radiant green he had known and been for so long. The leaf was sad. He was dying, and thought he would never be good enough to ever be loved. And with his last breath, he let go of the branch. The little leaf slowly began to drift down to the ground. But in the process, the sun bounced its bright light off the leaf's golden skin. The wind would make him spin, going left and right, doing loop-de-loops and half-pipe maneuvers. And the other leaves would join in as backup dancers, creating an extravaganza that was a one-of-a-kind natural phenomenon. I am the lucky one who got to witness this beauty of the leaf. He has put a smile on my face as I pause my hectic day to give him thanks and praise.
Thank you very much. So we're performing to a small crowd now. but I hope you guys enjoy this. This isn't quite lyrical, but it is about sound. It's called Toll. What's the sound of a man breaking? Is it that slow drip drip echo of depression, the wind rushing through the hole in your chest? Is it silent like nights of empty beds, sleeping abandoned and reaching for nothing, just hoping for anyone to drown out the cacophony of one? Is it the metal crunch, glass break on the head-on collision with the guardrail after drinking your dinner alone again? Is it the slow, babbling brook trickle of blood and tears blinding, burning your eyes? The wail of an overgrown, overdue infant? The squishy mush trampled beneath your feet? Is it the sound of rolling eyes? The not agains? The are you over it yet? The fuck you, you'll never understand, please someone fucking understand? Is it the patronizing coos? Is it the sound of the words you can never say, never will say? Is it the sound of the wrong question? Are you okay? With the wrong answer every time. The ringing of the church bells. Some long dead, here comes the bride confessional, melding with the hangman's funeral dirge war cry of the apocalypse. Some lifeless musician strumming our song in the wrong key at the wrong time, out of tune upon your hermit's rib cave harpsichord, played by DJ Jesus. Knower of none, who died for your spins? Is it the sound of the lightning sizzle ripping through your veins, the dubstep beat tantric jungle crescendo, filling that hole with napalm, the sound of waves crashing up on the shore of the most ragged, jagged, shredded bitter pill you'll ever have to force down past that acidic lump in your throat? Is it the knuckle-cracking bone on the cinder block wall behind your bathroom mirror? Is it the chip-chop, swish-swish on the executioner's butcher's block? Is it the gasp at the climax of your favorite book you'll never want to read again? A broken man sounds like nothing you have ever heard, will ever hear, and neither did she.
This one.
Alright, so my kid's randomly roulette poem is from I Got 'Em Off This Dead Guy by C. Williams, one of the fine poets out of Erie, Pennsylvania. So this particular book is 7 poems, one for each day of the week, and this is Wednesday. Had they asked me first, I might have declined my birth. I might have said to my parents, buy a parakeet, or a pot-bellied pig, or sea monkeys. If I had the choice, I might have been a water bear, or a platypus, or an anglerfish. I might have chosen to remain stardust, carbon particles, cosmic lint. I would not have chosen toes, nostril hairs, ball and socket joints, erections. Maybe. I would like to have been a cannabis plant, a syringe full of heroin, or a heart tattoo on a beautiful woman's ass, or a wad of cash dropped on the street and found by someone who really needs it. I would not have chosen need, or desire, or slamming doors, or clamoring up when all the world is silent. At the very least, I would have asked to see the cover, peruse the inside for exciting passages, maybe read the last few lines. I've never really cared for surprises. That would be Wednesday. I think he had a pretty rough week there. Although if you're from Erie, can't blame him. There's some pretty rough times people have had out there. Alright, for the new folks, free poetry books from local writers. If you wish to read, feel free to join the open mic. And, what you got for me, kid? Stan Kaufman. Alright, so, Stan, this is actually his memorial book that we put together for him at his funeral. He was a very, very prolific writer in the Lake County community. Him and his wife used to attend a reading all the time that I would go to his Skill Mansion in Painesville. So I'm going to find something of his that's worth me reading for him. Alright. Actually, this is probably pretty apt because I actually lost my father on